Talkex, ordinary to extraordinary. Welcome. On the show, we have an amazing personality. She was declared dead not once but twice, paralyzed for 2.5 years. She is a corporate lawyer and is known for her charming smile and her happiness. We bring to you on this show Shilpa Bhasin Mehra. Shilpa, welcome to the show. Truly appreciate you taking the time out to spend this precious moment, these precious moments with us. I'm going to dive straight into it. I introduced you by saying that you were declared not once but twice as clinically dead. And then you were paralyzed for 2.5 years. What happened?
We're still dealing with it, Rohit. It happened in 2003.
Yep.
I'd gone to see a tennis match.
Yep.
I came back, terrible headache, 24 hours, slipped into a coma, was in coma for 40 days. And when I woke up, waist down paralyzed on the bed for 2.5 years. So this was March 2003 to September 2005.
And when you got out of this, did you straight away get into being a lawyer again? That's the profession you belong to. Or did it take you time? Or did you start doing something else?
Well, as a profession, it was law because I don't really know anything else. But it wasn't like straight away. You know, you're still getting used to your body, your movements, your environment. Like my neurologist told me, the way you have to think is you're like a newborn baby born all over again. So from sitting to standing to walking one step. So the work and the profession definitely happened slowly because I had to get used to everything. Like eating food on the dining table was like a big deal because I was used to being on a hospital bed with a trolley in front of me. So, yes.
Before we go into your current life, just going back to this part, in that time when you were paralyzed for 2.5 years, how did you manage, how did you cope in terms of your relationship, in terms of your emotions, and obviously the physical challenges, or I would say is the struggle you were facing? How did you manage, how did you cope?
I think, Rohit, every day was so different. There were some days were very frustrating, some were sad, some when I had some new movement, they were very encouraging. I was very happy. But I think throughout what kept me going was the love and support of my family. Because I think when something like this happens to you, you don't fight it alone. You need all the love and support. And I was very fortunate to have that.
That's beautiful, beautiful, because I know I've spoken to you in the past and your family support has been extremely powerful for you to get to where you are now. So my next question comes into is, in those 2.5 years, what did you do? I mean, were you just lying down or what happened?
I don't know, I might shock you, Rohit, but I was very busy.
Okay, what were you busy doing?
Okay, I'll tell you. I think it's really fantastic to have a timetable. So I had a wake up time. So the same timetable that we had in the hospital. When I was in Delhi, I was in, Apollo Hospital. So we kind of replicated the same thing. So I would have my waking up time, my tea time. I would have acupressure happening. I would have Reiki healing. I would have physiotherapy. At 11 o'clock, my dad would come and have a cup of coffee with me. It was like set. He's a lawyer. He would come from court in the middle of his cases. 5 o'clock was physio. In the afternoon, a nap, 30-40 minutes compulsorily after lunch. Evening, always for 2.5 years. I have to tell you, I had someone visit me every day.
So it was still fun for you in those 2.5 years?
Oh yes, God was so kind and people were so nice.
Now, what I really want to know is you've got this wonderful book called All Battles Aren't Legal.
This actually happened, you know, I was lying down in bed in Apollo, and I've always been a laptop addict. So
Okay.
my dad got me a laptop, and I was wondering, what am I going to do with this? I mean, even to open it and type is like such an effort,
Yep.
you know. And then my family, as well as my doctor and physios, started telling me that, why don't you write your story? Because when we doctors tell patients in a white coat, they always say, doc, you don't understand. But if you write, people will relate to it. So, you know, it was not ever intended to be a book, to be published. It was my personal diary. So I just would write my thoughts of the day. Very, very, if you read it, it's very cool, casual. There's some Hindi words in it. There's some Shayari in it. There's Mata Ki Chunni in it, you know, right down to the Diet Coke, to the wine, to the kebabs. I mean, everything is there. Because I didn't even know I was writing a book.
So it was just a personal diary, journaling, basically. That's what you were doing. How come you named it All Battles Aren't Legal?
Very unusual. It's got an interesting tale to it, that one publisher came to meet me, and he publishes legal books.
Okay.
So he said, I really like this. I've read the manuscript, and I would love to publish it. But you have to help me. It has to go with our, you know, store. So you have to give me a legal title. So I'm looking at his face. I'm still paralyzed on the bed. And I'm thinking, I'm declared dead twice.
Yeah.
I'm sitting on the bed like a mannequin. And this guy wants a legal title. So I said, this is my personal battle, and all battles aren't legal. He said, can I keep it? I really like it. I said, sure. And that was it.
And that was it. That's how the name came across.
Yes, yes.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, I mean, this was 2003 where this all started. We're in 2022 now.
Yes.
How's life with you now? What's happening with you now?
Lots.
Tell me. I mean, there's some beautiful news you told me. I would love the audience to know that beautiful news.
Yes, a lovely surprise, I must say. So lots happening, always, you know, besides law and the clients and the family and the usual stuff. Writing is my passion. I've been doing it for many, many years. And I got nominated or granted the golden visa by Dubai Culture.
Beautiful.
And they write my profession as a writer. So I said, okay, thank you very much. So very, very grateful for it. It was a beautiful surprise. And, you know, when your passion gets recognized, it's an awesome feeling.
Because it's not just the book you've written. You regularly, you're a columnist. You write for Khaleej Times.
Yes.
And this is, I mean, I've seen numerous articles. And what I want the audience to be aware of is, what do you write about? So when they pick up the newspaper next time, they can go to your article and start reading that. What do you focus on?
So, Rohit, I never have a topic in mind.
Okay.
And fortunately, I write in that column, which is called Life. So, you know, it's like having a blank canvas. I can paint any color. So I don't have any, you know, restrictions on X or Y topic. I can write on anything. And if you ask me that tonight I'm going to write an article, what am I going to write on? It might be about this, you know, it could be about anything. I think one power, if I can use the word, that got activated when I was paralyzed on the bed was the power of observation. So I'm all the time seeing things, I'm observing people, and just anything, any incident, any person I meet, sometimes there could be something very striking about it, and then a whole tale gets woven around it. So it's just like about 800 words I write. I write twice a month, sometimes thrice, and it's very general. It's like from 8 years to 80 years old, anybody can read it, and the feedback I get is we can so much relate to it because it's about life. It's very general. It's very basic.
So I'm expecting you are going to write about Exceed College and Talkex in this next article. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Why not? Why not?
I mean, we're here with Exceed College on Talkex over there, ordinary to extraordinary. The focus of the college is online learning. They focus on MBAs. What is your thoughts on personal development in terms of educating yourself? Do you still continue, or are you like, I'm a lawyer, I don't need to do it, it's a waste of time? What do you do?
No, I am a huge supporter, a very strong advocate of online education actually, and people have taken it more seriously during COVID, when it just became a way of life. But I've been doing online courses for I don't know how many years. I've done it from Harvard, Yale, UPenn, Cornell, I mean, you name it, you know. I just love it. You know, when I open the sites and I have so much to choose from. So I've done law of contract, I've done a course on disability, I've done the science of happiness from Yale, negotiations. It's like any and everything. I've done your course,
yes, you
compassion have. On Udemy, and I think this is knowledge coming to you on a silver platter. Why would anyone not take it? I mean, I see no flip side of it.
So, as you're aware, Exceed College focuses on online education. Now, I've heard people, and these are professional people, I've read articles, and it's just not me, other people have read these articles and heard about this as well, is they have this strong notion that online education doesn't work, or even they go to the extent of saying higher education, be it online or offline, it's a waste of time. There's no point doing it. What are your thoughts about continuous education, online education, or education as a whole?
For me, Rohit, education or knowledge is never a waste. And I think people who say that are too full of themselves. You know, you've got to keep your cup, I say, half empty. There should always be some scope to pour something in it, you know. So the quest for knowledge or the thirst to learn is what keeps us going. We have to keep the torch of, curiosity on. Otherwise, if you stop learning, there is no growth. So how can you ever say that I know enough? I think that's such a wrong attitude.
Very true, very true. And I've read your articles, I've seen a number of times you've spoken online, and one of the things which I've noticed is that you've been given this accolade or this medal or medallion of being the happiness ambassador. What is this happiness ambassador? Give us a bit more. What is this happiness ambassador? Is it like a seal of approval? You get a medallion or some kind of badge? What is it?
Well, people were nice enough or kind enough, and they kept this name.
Oh.
So it was my sisters, my cousins, my friends, and it just kind of got stuck. Then you get labeled.
Yep.
So I was just labeled as that, and then I started during COVID something called the happiness chat. And it was because I saw a lot of people very depressed, and it was my way of doing something, like doing my 2-bit. Because personally, Rohit, I have had my COVID back in 2003. I was stranded on a 6-foot bed. So I know exactly how it feels to be stranded. Here I feel people are still stuck in their homes, but they're not stuck on their bed. So, I mean, I wanted to say that, these are the things that I did and they helped me, and I would like to share it with you. And if it helps you in any way, I'll be really happy. And I had called amazing people as my guest. They were from doctors to diplomats to rape victims to parents of autistic children, because there's so much to learn. I mean, everyone's got a story. My story got published, so people know about it. But I think there's a story everywhere. There's so much to learn. So it was just to bring out some stories like that, so people could learn and share and, say that it's not the end of the world and my problems are not the biggest. There are people dealing with so much every day.
Being a woman, I mean, there's no doubt about that. One of the things which I've heard, and I think most of the world, is women empowerment. And I've spoken to many women about this, and it's interesting, the ones which I've spoken to, and also you, your thoughts are somewhat different on women empowerment. I want you to share this with the audience. What do you think about women empowerment? What is your take on all this movement about women empowerment?
Very honestly, Rohit, I don't really understand this concept, because I feel first you tie down the women, you have all these obstacles, you don't give them any sort of opportunities, and then when you remove the obstacles, you say this is women empowerment. I mean, women are powerful. They've held the most powerful positions, they've climbed the Everest, they've gone to the moon. It's like a diamond, you know. If you're going to cover the diamond in dust, it's not going to shine. Just remove the dust, it'll shine automatically. I think it's the same with, you know, women. We are anyway powerful. You don't have to do anything to empower us. I would say, just let us be, and we will shine. That's my take.
So you talk about obstacles over here, and the dust defined as the obstacles which are put in front of women so they can't move forward. In your life, have you come across obstacles, and how did you pass through them? What did you do?
I think, Rohit, I'm very blessed. I come from a very modern, a very professional, progressive thinking family. So I did not face any of the obstacles that I see and I hear all around me. So I did not have that. My husband also, after I got married, is extremely supportive. So I have not had the typical women obstacles that I keep hearing and seeing. But it's sad to see when there's so much potential in people and they cannot come up to it because of you can't do this, this is not allowed, this is not right, women don't, you know, do this. That is sad. But I've been very lucky, very blessed. I did not face them.
With the people around you, I'm sure there are women who do come across these obstacles, and I wouldn't be surprised if women have come up to you and said, "Hey Shilpa, I'm having this challenge, I'm having this problem." What do you say to these women who do encounter these obstacles and they come up to you and say, ask you for your guidance or your advice or your help? What do you say to them?
You know, I think the problem is not with the women as such, it's with their families, basically the people who are stopping them. I would tell them to sit and talk to their families about it. Don't be too emotional. Let's not get into the crying and the huge fights. This is what I feel I can really achieve something in it. So please do give me a chance. And I would say do some, you know, research, because when you put facts in front of people, it always helps. So, you know, I would want to do this. I want to join this college. If I do this course, it'll help me to get this job. So have a little bit of a course of action. So that is always easy to convince your parents or convince whoever you need permission from. I think that is the best way to be. I mean, to, you know, negotiate and meander along, and you face your obstacles, but you go around them. So you got to find a path. And, you know, with your loved ones, you can't like break it off. So you have to cajole your way through many times. And I think getting your facts right, that really helps. I've seen it personally.
Okay. When it comes to, I mean, you're a mother of two wonderful boys. They are now teenagers, or they're way beyond teenagers now?
No, 21 and 25.
21 and 25. And they have this mother they look up to, and obviously their father as well. They've got a lot to live up to. How do you cope and manage with these two wonderful gems of yours?
So, Rohit, factually that's very wrong. I'm very short, so they look down at me. They don't look up. They don't look up. And I must say that they're very on their own, so they don't get overwhelmed with anything. And they are actually I would say, the best critics, because they feel I get enough of compliments from a lot of people around me. So they're like, no, this is not this, or this article was like this, and no, you should have said this, or you should have worn this, or whatever. So it's nice, because there should always be a balance, you know. So they really like get the scales right for me. Yeah.
Interesting, interesting. Now, with this storytelling or story writing, you've become a writer. If somebody wants to go down this path, it doesn't matter, I mean, because you were a corporate lawyer, you still do your law, but you are doing this, you're a writer. How does one get into becoming a writer? What do they do? What do they need to do?
So, like Rohit, I said, I'm a writer by, you know, chance or by default. So I have not done any course in it. I don't know how writers should form their stories. I don't know the ABC of it. I am, what do you say, completely raw. And I have no like methodology sort of a thing. I would say writing for me personally is my passion. And I would say to be authentic. You know, everybody else is taken. So just be yourself. And if you can strike a chord with your audience, I think that's what everybody wants. They want something that, you know, they can relate to. And I don't believe in giving, if I can use the word gyan, there's too much of that advice floating around. Do this, do this, do this. No, I think sometimes people want to talk about daily problems. You know, whether it could be an attitude problem, you know, or like a behavioral sort of a thing, or something in society that we face in, certain norms that we deal with. So I feel write about something which people can relate to, and you have a ready audience. Because if they can say, oh my God, this is exactly what I feel, you've got it. You don't have to do anything. I mean, don't try and impress, I feel. Idea is to express. So don't bother with it, because for how long will you do it? I can impress you once or twice. But if you want to be in a profession, then be yourself first, I think.
Interesting. I mean, if we look at the people who come to Exceed, they're doing their MBAs or their doctorates, and they're sharpening the axe, so to say, through proper structure. It's not about impressing other people. It's about doing something which they believe they can do, or they want to learn more about.
Yes.
And that's what I'm getting at from you, is if you're going to go into the writing profession, is you have to have the passion and the joy to do that.
Definitely.
When we talk about passion and joy, if someone does not have passion and joy, this could be one of your next articles. See, I'm giving you ideas over here now.
Thank you.
How does one find the passion and joy in life? What could they do to discover this?
I think life itself is such a, you know, discovering journey. I mean, that's why they call life a journey, because you're always discovering. And if you don't have a passion for something today, you may find one tomorrow. People find passion, you know, in gardening. When their flowers are blooming, that gives them so much joy. I've seen people knitting, you know, when that full thing, when the full sweater is ready and they pick it up, that's joy for them. You know, when a person, my sister, she couldn't paint at all. Now she paints beautifully. So it was something that you develop. You know, you think I can try this, and then you practice a bit, you get good in it, and then when you see the, you know, results, when you see the appreciation, the joy automatically comes, and suddenly you don't even know that it has already become a passion with you. So it's not always that you fall in love, like it doesn't have to be love at first sight, right? Like love can also grow. So passion also grows, and if you don't have something today, who knows, tomorrow you'll find something. You know, who knows, somebody who's reading my articles may want to start, you know, writing, because they say this was her passion and she's been doing it, and you know, we really enjoy reading it, and probably this is something I can do. People love dancing. It's not that people were born dancers, but there's something that they saw in the movies, they really liked it, they picked it up, you do it, it becomes your passion. You can't wait for your dance class. You can't wait for your dance performance. So I think that's the beauty of passion, that you can't define it. It's like apples and oranges. What works for you does not work for the other person.
We spoke on your time when you were 2.5 years paralyzed. We spoke about your book. We spoke about the golden visa. There's so many things we've spoken about, and I'm sure we can speak about many more things. What I want to know is, what is Shilpa looking forward to in the next 1 year, 2 years, or even the next 5 years? What is she looking to do?
Wow, I haven't thought about this. I think I want to live every day slightly better than my previous day. So unlike people who have like lots of goals, I don't seem to have them. I would want to get better physically. I would want to add value. I'm a firm believer in adding value, whether it's to my family, whether it's to society, whether it's by means of my writing or doing any other sort of venture. I want to get into CSR. That's something I believe in. And I think coming from the legal background, I do understand corporates. So I would want to get into that. Then, like I mentioned, I did a course on disability. So I'd want to get involved with the government bodies here, because if I can help them when they are drafting their laws, or a simple thing, Rohit, when I see a ramp, I know whether the slope is correct or not. So it's so simple things. Or when schools or colleges or buildings are being constructed, how to make them disabled friendly from the start. Instead of later on making alterations, which are very expensive and also time consuming. So it would be, I have this deep desire to give in whatever way I can. So I think I have to streamline my thoughts and my actions to really get cracking on that.
What about another book?
Well, people keep asking, but I think that my love for writing is getting very satisfied through my articles, which, like I told you, I write 2 to 3 times every month. So whatever my thought process is, when you say your like creative juices, they're pretty much being poured into the articles. So there's no book as of now happening.
It's interesting when I asked you, hey, Shilpa, I would love to interview you for Talkex, and you said, aren't people tired listening to my story? So my question is, how about becoming one of a speaker to spread not your story, but the message behind the story, from what happened to you and where you are now? We're talking 2003, we're in 2022 now.
Well, Rohit, you are not the first person who has told me this, and if the opportunity or it comes along, I'm always willing to share. But I have not thought of taking it on as a profession or something. Like I told you, I've already got quite a few things happening. I remain quite busy. But this is also, I feel my way of adding by just sharing with everybody my story. If anybody feels encouraged or can take any sort of lesson from it, I'd be happy. I do know some people have written to me on social media. They've inboxed me that they have the book by their bedside. Whenever they're depressed, they open a chapter. There's somebody whose husband was in coma. She got a lot of strength. Some cancer patients got a lot of strength. So I feel very happy about it. So if anybody wants me to come and talk to them, I'm always available.
Interesting you're saying this, because the students of Exceed who are professionals, they're working in different places and they're doing their MBA or their doctorate. Your book, All Battles Aren't Legal, can truly help them in terms of when they're feeling that low energy, or like people like to say they're depressed or not up to doing things. This is a good place to go to, wouldn't you say?
I think so. I think because it's about life. It's not about my illness. In fact, I think barely few pages in the beginning is about it. It is just about whatever helped me, whether it was belief, whether it was relationships, whether it was sense of humor. And another thing which I strongly believe in is build a wall. Don't let the outside affect you so much. That makes you a strong person, because there'll always be factors around us which will be pulling us down, which will be depressing us or troubling us in some ways. So many times we just have to build a wall around ourselves. So there's just some things that I shared which I think anybody can look at it and maybe gain from it.
So it's a source of resilience, a source of
Yes.
inspiration. That's what I understand from it, and from the little what I've read of the book as well. In all of this, 2003, we're in 2022. There's one person who's been there through it all that time, and that's your relationship with your husband. How do you manage, how do you cope to have such a wonderful, beautiful relationship with this man?
Well, believe me, relationships you always have to work at. It's like every day. You brush your teeth, you have a bath. But I think what keeps us really close, or I would say we have a great understanding, is because we give each other space.
Okay.
Like he's been a cricketer all his life. He played for the UAE, and now
First wife, second wife?
no, you should say first love, second love.
Oh, okay.
So when it's cricket, I just leave him alone. Yeah, so that's like his thing. Whether you're watching, whether you're playing, whether you're talking, I don't get into it. So I think it's kind of respecting each other's boundaries. That's very important, and not just with your husband, in any relationship. And we do have something in common, like we have our favorite cuisines, which happen to be the same. So we like to go out. The places what we like, are like holiday places. So we do have similarities. So what I would say is respect your differences and enjoy your similarities.
Okay. And remember to have that space as well.
Yes, very important, very important.
I'd like to end this talk, this interview, thank you for being here, truly appreciate it, is by final question. And the question is, for the people who are listening to this or they're watching it, what would you say to them from your experience, the ups and downs, the highs and lows, the problems, the challenges, the joys? What can one do to stay happy? You are the happy ambassador. to stay happy, what could they do? What could they do for themselves?
I have one very simple trick, and the good thing is, Rohit, it's scientific. So it's not just my belief. I learned it from the Science of Happiness from Yale, like I told you. To be happy, the first thing, simple thing, it's a twitch of a muscle, smile. Because the brain cannot distinguish between a real smile and a fake smile. Although it's very smart, it cannot. So the minute we smile, this twitch of your muscles, it releases the happy hormones in your blood. So to the people who are naturally smiling, I would say great, well done. For the people who don't, or it doesn't come to them naturally, make the effort. Fake it until you make it, kind of a thing. That would be like the simplest things. The other things are, of course, your mindset and all the other sort of things. But I'm really believe in the acronym KISS, keep it sweet and simple. That would be my small take. Try it. And basically, life is precious. Carpe diem.
Thank you so much, Shilpa, for being at Talkex, ordinary to extraordinary. I have a big smile. Look, and truly appreciate your time.
Thank you, Rohit. I've enjoyed so much, and thank you for calling me to a college. I feel young. I've been to a college after decades. Thank you so much.
Well, you met the youngest dean in probably all of the UAE.
I did. Truly, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Pleasure.